I attempted a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Leaf Green with water types only. The Nuzlocke rules are simple, the main ones being I can only use the first water type Pokemon I encounter in an area, and if a Pokemon faints, I can no longer use it in battle. There are additional rules in play that are on screen now and in the description below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you want to see more Pokemon content. And while you're down there, go ahead and comment if you think I'll make it through or if I'll fail miserably. Now let's play. Seeing as I can only use water types, I naturally choose Squirtle. I beat my rival Stink in a Tackle Fest and proceed out to take on the Kanto region. Now, Squirtle is the only usable encounter available to me before Brock, so I just use this part of the game to train up Squirtle and collect some helpful items. After the Viridian Forest is all said and done, it's time for Brock. You may notice that I am a few levels below the level cap. This is intentional, as staying under the cap is really tough when you only have one Pokemon. I can't afford to collect any unnecessary XP. As you may expect, Brock is a total breeze. Geodude just barely lives a bubble, then goes for Defense Curl. He naturally goes down to a second one, and out comes Onix. This thing does outspeed and use Tackle, though sadly for Brock, I learned Water Gun after KOing Geodude, allowing me to knock this thing out in one shot. One gym down, 7 to go. The mandatory battles on Route 3 yield enough XP to let Squirtle evolve into Wartortle, and Route 4 yields me my next encounter, Magikarp from this sketchy bald guy. I've got to be a bit more strategic with Magikarp though. Once I get him, I backtrack all the way to Route 22, where I do EV training and attack against wild Mankeys. Again, I can't afford to train up too much. I don't want to accidentally get to a higher level than Misty's level cap. Plus, I still have an entire Mount Moon to get through. I sneak my way through Mount Moon, managing to make it all the way, only battling the 2 required trainers. I also get the Helix Fossil, which is a potential future encounter, teach Wartortle Mega Punch, and evolve Magikarp into Gyarados. I have enough space between me and the level cap to take on Stink before the gym, so I let him jump me on the Nugget Bridge. I lead with Gyarados for the Intimidate on Pidgeotto. I start by using Tackle and get hit with a Sand Attack. I realize I should probably be using Bite for the flinch, though I accidentally use Splash, wasting a turn. Luckily, Pidgeotto misses its move, but I hate to make mistakes like that in a hardcore Nuzlocke. 2 bites are enough to take this thing down, thankfully not missing as we take a weak gust from Pidgeotto. I know I better not push my luck, seeing as I got hit with a Sand Attack, so I swap into Wartortle to reset my accuracy. All Rattata does is use Tail Whip twice, allowing Wartortle to 2-shot it with Water Gun without taking any damage. Next is Bulbasaur, for whom I stay in and go for Mega Punch, bring it down to half HP. Then my worst nightmare happens, Sleep Powder. I swap into Gyarados on a Vine Whip, and I'm able to bring this thing down to the red with Bite, but I don't get the flinch, so Gyarados gets put to sleep as well. I figure my best bet is to stay in and hope to wake up. I am then horrified to see Gyarados stay asleep for 4 turns and get crit on the last turn, taking him out. Well, that really sucks, but at least Wartortle is full health. Maybe I can wake up in time. Or rather, maybe I can get crit in one shot on turn 1, ending the run. Wow! It just hurts that much more when I have a run ended by something like Sleep Hacks or 2 crits, let alone both at the same time. Well, attempt number 2, here we go. Much of the early game goes the same. Get Squirtle, beat Brock, evolve Squirtle, get Magikarp, EV Train, schlep through Mount Moon, get Mega Punch, evolve Magikarp, and just like that, we're back where we were. Stink, we've come for you. I lead with Gyarados again, using Bite and flinching Pidgeotto on the first turn. 3 more bites KO the bird, as all it can do is weakly Gust and Quick Attack for 12 damage. Rattata is a quick 2-shot, seeing as we flinch again, leading into Abra. We didn't see this thing last time, though it doesn't matter since all this thing has is Teleport. I use this as a free swap into Wartortle, who 1-shots with Bite. Now for the scary part. Out comes Bulbasaur again. I decide to go for more flinches with Bite, which works the first turn. The second turn I'm not so lucky though, as it's able to land a Sleep Powder on Wartortle. I swap into Gyarados for another Bite, and come up just shy of the KO. Bulbasaur lands another Sleep Powder. Seriously, I thought this was a 75% accurate move. How can he not miss one? Anyway, this time I thankfully am not critted, and wake up after 2 turns of sleep to KO with Bite. Something tells me that this Bulbasaur is going to be a problem every time we see it. Now that it's finally done, I can finally train up to the level cap and head to the gym to take on Misty. I lead with Gyarados and spam Bite against her Staryu. Using Recover, it stays alive a bit longer than it should, but it still goes down without doing any damage to me. Starmie comes out second. After a lengthy battle of Swift versus Bite, Gyarados comes out victorious, giving me my second badge. Traveling north throughout 25, I get the SS ticket from Bill and head to Vermilion City. I am able to get the Old Rod here, though right now the only thing that can be encountered with it is Magikarp, which I already have. Now, I generally don't catch more than one of the same Pokemon, but this one has a special purpose. I'm getting dangerously close to the level cap of 24, and I still have a required battle with Stink on the SSN. I'm hoping to use this little guy to suck up some of the XP, so I don't accidentally overlevel. Let's see if it works. He leads Pidgeotto once again, and I lead with Magikarp. He's already done his job being here, so I swap right back into Gyarados, who gets hit with a Sand Attack. I managed to bring Pidgeotto down, though not without missing an attack or two. I really can't waste HP missing moves, so it's time to swap back into Magikarp. He manages to live a Hyper's Fang from Raticate, and I still need him alive to absorb XP, so it's right back out for Magikarp. Wartortle takes another Hyper Fang for about a 5th HP. With a combination of Water Gun and Bite, Raticate is brought down to red HP, though he does the same to Wartortle, even flinching him so I don't finish him off. I probably shouldn't have let Wartortle in after the Tail Whip anyway. Gyarados comes back in, intimidating Raticate, and taking a weak Quick Attack. Raticate is taken down with Bite, and Kadabra is sent down. Very annoyingly, he uses Disable on turn 1, stopping me dead in my tracks. I start using Tackle instead, nearly KOing and taking Confusion, bringing me to a quarter HP. My entire team is very, very, very weak right now. This is becoming a dangerous fight. My Disable ends this turn, and fortunately for me, Kadabra goes for another Disable, which now affects Tackle. Bite takes him out, leading to my arch nemesis, Ivysaur. My only hope here is flinch tactics, going for a Bite immediately. I, of course, don't flinch, and I'm instead hit by Sleep Powder, though I do have a Chesto Berry equipped just for this. I try for the flinch again, and miss it again. Sleep Powder lands a second time. Getting serious deja vu here. I have no other choice than to stay in and hope to wake up. Gyarados is brought down to a mere 2 HP before he wakes up and hits another Bite. Of course, not getting the flinch. I gotta do something here, or Gyarados is finished. Magikarp, buddy, you did your job, and it's time for you to take one for the team. You will be missed. I use this free switch to go out into Wartortle. My only hope is landing an 85% accurate Mega Punch. Wish we do and KO this monster. Holy smokes, I cannot believe we made it through that fight without losing anyone important. This Ivysaur really is my arch nemesis. The captain of the SS Man cuts me a great deal, giving me access to Surge's gym. Before I take him on, I need to grab one thing, the TM Secret Power. This will be a nice powerful physical move for Gyarados, seeing as all he's had is Tackle for the longest time now. I brute force my way through the gym's stupid puzzle, and now it's time for a potential run-ending fight against Lieutenant Surge. I lead Gyarados here. This may seem foolish, seeing as I'm quad weak to Electric, though if I'm lucky enough, this may be my only hope to win here. Voltorb thankfully misses Sonic Boom, and Secret Power brings it down to red HP and paralyzes. This lets me KO this thing without taking any damage. This is huge. Pikachu gets one shot by Secret Power, which I expected, and now it's time to fight Raichu. I was especially happy to fight this thing at full HP, as I knew I could live a single, non-crit Shockwave. It goes for Thunder Wave, activating my held Cherry Berry, and I go for yet another Secret Power. And I amazingly paralyze. This forces Surge to use a full heal, letting me KO next turn, winning this fight without taking a single point of damage. You guys don't even know how badly this fight could have gone, so after all the trouble we've had so far this run, I'm happy to get an easy win. We now have access to Route 9, 10, and Dark Cave, where I try my hardest to avoid every trainer possible. That's really tough when I can't even see where they are. I don't have Flash, seeing as I'm only using Water Pokemon, and I haven't caught the minimum Pokemon to get the HM. I could go catch a few extra Pokemon and get it, but that just seems like so much extra work than just stumbling around in the dark. I have another rival battle to knock out here in Lavender Town, though I have one more available encounter I want to pick up before we do that. Sneaking past all the trainers on Route 8 gets me to Celadon City, where I pick up Keith the Eevee. All I gotta do is buy a Water Stone from the department store, and boom, I got a Vaporeon. Immediately, I use my Water Pulse TM I got from Misty on him, and start knocking out the Rocket hideout in the game corner. Vaporeon makes quick work of these Rocket Grunts, leading me to my first fight with Giovanni. Most of his Pokemon are weak to water, so this shouldn't be a big problem. Vaporeon is able to one-shot his lead Onix and Rhyhorn. His final Pokemon is Kangaskhan, who goes for Bite turn 1, and Vaporeon does about a quarter with Water Pulse, getting the confusion. Kangaskhan still manages to land a Mega Punch, bringing me down to half, and I do the same with another Water Pulse. I for some reason stay in, and I'm lucky enough not to die to another Mega Punch, instead getting hit with Tail Whip. A third Water Pulse brings this thing down to a quarter HP, and then I swap in a Gyarados for Intimidate. Dragon Rage takes it down after surviving Mega Punch again. Giovanni flees after our victory, netting us the Sylph Scope. I believe we have enough space between us and the level cap to take on the rival fight in Pokemon Tower now, so we head back to Lavender Town and do just that. Water Pulse on Vaporeon brings this thing to about a quarter HP, and it confuses. Pidgeotto hurts itself, letting me KO with another Water Pulse. Out comes the bane of my existence, Ivysaur. I decide I'd better play the accuracy game, going for Sand Attack, while Vaporeon gets hit with Poison Powder. I swap in a Gyarados, who dodges the subsequent Razor Leaf. I'm then able to land 2 Secret Powers, dodging all of this thing's stupid status moves, knocking it out. How does it feel to get hacked, Ivysaur? Next up, Stink has his own Gyarados. I try to use flinch tactics with Bite, but it does almost nothing, and Thrash does a quarter HP to me. I figure I'd better just use Dragon Rage while I can, knocking it out with 2, taking another quarter from Thrash. Ralph is 4th, for whom I use Vaporeon. I take an Ember, and one-hit KO this thing with Water Pulse. Last up is Kadabra, who also gets one-shotted by Water Pulse. Dealing with Ivysaur quickly definitely made a huge difference. Hopefully we can continue doing just that. Alright, enough stalling, it's time to take on Erica. As you'd expect, this fight is definitely a big danger to our team. I lead with Gyarados for the neutral damage from grass attacks, and come out swinging with a powerful secret power. Victory Bell takes a little under half damage and hits us with Stun Spore. Fortunately for me, my held Cherry Berry heals it off immediately and lets me land a second secret power that paralyzes Victory Bell. Erica is forced to heal, so I keep the attacks up, though Victory Bell very annoyingly paralyzed again before it goes down. I am able to break through and KO next turn, though this does not bode well for the rest of this battle. Tangela pops out and uses Ingrain, and I take a little over half with another secret power. Next turn, Tangela heals a little bit with Giga Drain, and I get paralyzed for 2 turns in a row. Luckily, I break through Paralysis and land a crit secret power, one-shotting Tangela. Finally, we take on Vileplume. I risk the Paralysis and stay in on 2 Giga Drains, getting off 2 secret powers to bring this thing into the red. Alright, I cannot lose Gyarados. It's time to swap. I opt to swap into Vaporeon, and I'm thankfully only hit with Acid. Let's end this fight with a quick attack, or maybe not. That is really, really infuriating. Vaporeon gets hit with Stun Spore and is stopped from moving at all. 2 Giga Drains brings Vileplume back above half. Well, I think I've really screwed up here. I think the only thing to do is to sadly let Vaporeon go down and come back in with Wartortle. However, I think with that, we're home free. It appears that this thing is out of Giga Drain power points. I get paralyzed with Stun Spore, but all he's going for now is Acid. I just gotta break through with Bite, and that's the end of the fight. I can't help but think that Vaporeon's death could have been avoided. I bet that Water Pulse would have KO'd there when I went for Quick Attack. But I have no choice but to move on. I finally finish the Pokemon Tower and get the Poke Flute from Mr. Fuji. This gives me access to 2 crucial items, the Good Rod and the Super Rod. I can now get almost every encounter available to me in the game. I begin flying around the region, picking them up wherever I can. This excursion nets me Poliwhirl, Krabby, Goldeen, Horsey, Staryu, and Slowpoke. After you beat Erica, the entire region basically opens up, so I spend lots of time collecting items and TMs for the next gym. For example, we now have Surf, a powerful water-type move that I can use on all my Pokemon, as many times as I want, though we can't use it outside of battle yet, so we'll have to wait to get our last set of encounters. Since we have so much space between us and the level cap of 43, I start taking on Silphco here. I evolve Wartortle into Blastoise, and use a set of Water Stones to evolve Poliwhirl into Poliwrath, and Staryu into Starmie. Now for a fight I've been dreading. Our rival fight with Stink in Silphco. We start with the same matchup as always, Gyarados against Pidgeot. 2 secret powers bring it into red HP, and 2 wing attacks bring me to 90 HP. Bite finishes Pidgeot off and leads us to Stink's own Gyarados. After Intimidate, secret power does only about a quarter of this thing, and 2 Dragon Rages bring me to just 10 HP, so it's time for a swap. Poliwrath comes in, taking a weak bite and landing Hypnosis first try. I go for Rain Dance next turn, a move that will power up all my water attacks as long as the rain is still active, and then start whittling this thing down with Surf. Before I can KO, Stink swaps, which is always a surprise to see an MP stew in any game, and send out Venusaur. I figure I gotta land Hypnosis again if I hope to live this battle. Poison Powder connects with Poliwrath, and I land another Hypnosis first try. Time to swap again. I now have Psychic on Starmie, so I can finally do super effective damage to this thing. To be safe, I set up Light Screen first turn. I don't want anything crazy happening. Okay, a one-shot crit the second it wakes up? After Light Screen? After I spent all that time building the team and using TMs? Pokemon is rigged. I will admit, after that death, I really start making some dumb decisions. I go out into Blastoise, forgetting that the rain already stopped and going for Surf. I go for Bite on turn 2, hoping to flinch, and get no such luck. Great. What now? I swap into Poliwrath, hoping to kill with my Body Slam, but I don't even get an attack off before Razor Leaf KOs. Okay, am I really about to wipe again? I desperately go into Gyarados on the free switch, and thankfully KO with Secret Power. His Gyarados comes back out, who is still asleep. He goes down to another Secret Power, leading us into Growlithe. For him, I swap back into Blastoise, who eats a takedown for 17 damage. Surf one-shots next turn, as expected, bringing us to his last Pokemon, who I thought for sure was ending this run. For some reason, Alakazam goes for Future Sight twice in a row, letting Blastoise KO with 2 bites. As frustrating as these losses are, we do get a replacement Pokemon, Lapras, for winning this fight. Using him, as well as Slowbro and Kingler, I think we're safe enough to take on Giovanni. I start with Lapras against Nidorino, unfortunately getting poisoned turn 1 from Poison Sting. I am able to get Rain Dance set up though, so I think we'll be fine. Next turn I swap Blastoise into Horn Attack for 16 HP, then one-shot with Surf next turn. Nidoqueen, Kangaskhan, and Rhyhorn go down in one-shot as well, giving me an easy win. Considering how much of a problem Stink has been for us, Giovanni has been super underwhelming. Now that Silphco has been saved, we're ready to take on back-to-back gyms, starting with Koga. I decide to lead Kingler here and go for Harden on the chance that this coughing self-destructs. It instead goes for Sludge, so I go for another Harden. He hits another Sludge, this time poisoning. Well, time to start doing some damage. I start with Strength, though immediately get hit with self-destruct. thankfully living from the defense I set up. Well, Kingler is done for this fight, so I swap into Blastoise. Muck is going for Minimize, and I miss Surf on the first try. I figure the only thing to do is to keep trying, and luckily the next two connect, getting a crit on the second one to KO. For Coughing number 2, I try Bite for the flinch, which I really gotta stop doing, and I bring it down to a 4th HP. Sludge connects and poisons first try. I guess now I can't get hit with Toxic on the bright side. The second bite knocks it out, and now we just have Wheezing to deal with. I go for one more bite, which actually does flinch, and then switch into Slowbro, getting poisoned by Sludge again, but healing off with a Pecha Berry. It then takes one Psychic to KO and win. Now that we have the Soul Badge, we can use Surf outside of battle, which gets us our next encounter, Tentacool. This thing won't be very useful in the coming gym fight against Sabrina, though it's nice that we have so many options. Anyway, onto the gym fight. Blastoise is our lead here, who goes for a Black Glasses boosted bite, knocking Kadabra out in one shot. I don't do quite as much to Mr. Mime, though I get the flinch, so I outspeed next turn and KO. For Venomoth, I go for Dig. I seem to have forgotten that Bug resists ground, so I do a bit under half. Venomoth lands Supersonic, so I figure the safest thing to do is swap out. Slowbro comes in and takes a mere 8 HP from Psybeam. Now it's time to set up Amnesia. Leech Life only does about 10 damage each, so I can set up 3 and one-shot this thing with Psychic. Her ace, Alakazam, can't do anything to me now that I've set up, so I'm free to just headbutt. It's tedious, as Sabrina still has 2 Hyper Potions, though eventually it does go down, getting me my 6th gym badge. With that, we're off to Cinnabar Island, where we finally get to revive our fossil and get Ammonite. I also get my final encounter, Seal, in the Seafoam Islands, and spend some time Eevee training Tentacool, or rather Tentacruel now. After a rather boring slog through the Pokemon Mansion, I can enter the Cinnabar Gym and fight Blaine. Lapras is the clear lead here. Setting up Rain Dance will guarantee that I'll one-shot everything. Growlithe goes for a weak Fire Blast turn 1, and then next turn hits Takedown on Slowbro. I know I could probably already one-shot KO this gym, but I'm still going to set up Calm Minds to be spiteful. I am punished for this immediately. Growlithe flinches me twice, bringing Slowpoke to a 4th HP before I can knock it out. I then make the mistake of staying in on Arcanine, who brings Slowbro to just 11 HP and flinching him. Okay, fine. I'll swap. Because of all that dilly-dallying, the rain is now stopped, but I'm still able to one-shot Arcanine, Ponyta, and Rapidash to win. I should have just started using Surf turn 1. Instead, I had to try and be fancy. Whatever, it's no skin off my back. There's really nothing to do between Gyms 7 and 8, so let's hop in with our final fight with Giovanni. I've learned my lesson from fighting Blaine. This time, I'm clicking Surf turn 1. One Surf each is all it takes to knock out Rhyhorn, Dugtrio, Nidoqueen, Nidoking, and Rhyhorn number 2. See how easy Blaine could have been? We're now 8 badges strong and ready to take on Victory Road. Though of course, I am once again interrupted by Stink wanting to cause me more misery. We see the Gyarados-Pidgeot matchup once again. I start with Dragon Dance and take a Wing Attack. We repeat that turn, and now I'm set up enough to start attacking. One Strength KOs Pidgeot, leading to Rhyhorn, who goes down to 1 Earthquake. His Gyarados comes out next, intimidating my Gyarados. I go for another Dragon Dance to boost my attack back up, and his Gyarados goes for Rain Dance. Though why, I'm not too sure. Strength just barely misses out in the KO, and the opposing Gyarados goes for Leer. One more Strength takes it out. Growlithe gets another Intimidate off on Gyarados, so I go for another Dragon Dance. Growlithe only goes for 1 Agility, so I take the opportunity to go for another Dragon Dance. Time to nuke this thing with EQ, one-shotting it. There's a reason I went for a couple extra D-Dances, to make sure it outspeed and one-shot Alakazam, and more importantly, Venusaur. Feels good to totally obliterate this thing. Victory Road is rather uneventful, as I dodge almost every trainer in here. I demolish the boulder puzzles in record time, and begin to prepare to take on the Elite Four. The level cap for the champion battle is 63, but I don't want to be too over-leveled for the Elite Four, so I figure it'd be fair to enter the Pokemon League with a team full of level 58s. The final team is as you see here: Gyarados, Blastoise, Tentacruel, Slowbro, Lapras, and Kingler. So wish me luck, as it's time to take on the Pokemon League, starting with Lorelei. Dugong is her lead, for whom I use Slowbro. I take a small amount of damage from Surf and go for Calm Mind the first turn. I go for another while Dugong uses Safeguard. Dugong then lands a critical Ice Beam to bring Slowbro into half HP as I set up my final Calm Mind. I'm then able to take this thing out with a single Psychic, taking only 10 damage from Surf. Lapras is second, hitting Body Slam for 23 HP, while Psychic just barely misses out in the KO, activating its held Citrus Berry. Another Body Slam connects before I can KO Lapras. Next up, Cloyster comes out, going for Protect turn 1, saving itself. It goes for Spikes turn 2, then gets one shot as well. We then go head-to-head with her own Slowbro and exchange Surfs, though mine do a heck of a lot more. One more Surf KOs it, bringing me to her final Pokemon, Jinx, who lands a Lovely Kiss first turn. I am definitely not playing this sleep game, so I swap in a Tentacruel for a Surf that does about a third. I then get hit with another Lovely Kiss. Okay, I can see where this is going. I then go out to each and every one of my Pokemon, who gets either hit with Lovely Kiss, Attract, or both before I can knock this thing out. Wait, why didn't I use you? On to Bruno, who is much less of an ordeal. Slowbro one-shots Onix, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, Onix number 2, and Machamp. Get owned, kid. This is just like last time in Pokemon Red version. Link in description. Next, we fight Agatha. I lead Lapras against her Gengar, and after eating a light Shadow Punch, set up a safeguard to avoid being hit with Toxic. Gengar instead goes for Double Team, while I set up a Rain Dance. Time for Blastoise to come in. I swap in on another Double Team, and next turn, take another Shadow Punch and miss my Surf. I do land the next one, even after Gengar uses Double Team again, thankfully one-shotting. Golbat is next up, and deals a weak Air Cutter to Blastoise. I once again go for Surf, and end up just shy of the KO. Next turn sees Agatha heal, and we bring Golbat right back down to yellow HP with another Surf. Golbat is able to get a Poison Fang off that badly poisons me before it goes down to another Surf. Should have made the point of setting up Safeguard again. Arbok comes out, and I know I gotta get Blastoise out of there before the poison gets too bad. It's back out to Lapras, who takes 2 Sludge Bombs before setting up Safeguard. Now that I'm safe from poison, I send out Gyarados, who still takes quite a bit from Sludge Bomb despite the Intimidate. I decide Dragon Dance is the best option, which in hindsight wasn't the best play, seeing as none of my moves can hit her remaining Haunter and Gengar. I'm then hit with the nastiest crit that takes Gyarados out. That is really not good. I use Psychic on Slowbro for the one-shot revenge kill, though with Gengar out now, I need to swap again. Tentacruel comes in and dodges the Hypnosis, though Safeguard was up so it wouldn't have worked anyway. Safeguard does run out that turn though, and Tentacruel's put to sleep the subsequent turn. Great, now I gotta swap again before I get hit with Nightmare. It's right back out to Slowbro, and for some reason, Gengar goes for Shadow Ball instead of Nightmare. Slowbro takes it pretty well, so I figure I just gotta risk it and try to hit Psychic. My risk is rewarded. Gengar misses Hypnosis, and I'm able to one-shot Gengar. There's actually very little Haunter could do to me here, so I stay in and go for Surf. Hilariously, Haunter goes for Curse, cutting its HP in half, so I'm able to KO a Surf and pick up the win. Losing Gyarados really hurts. He was my second Pokemon, and I was really hoping to blow Stink away with +6 D-Dance. We'll have to come up with another strategy. Now we take on the leader of the Elite Four, Lance, and his army of dragons. He leads Gyarados. Way to rub salt into the wound. I outspeed, using Toxic with Tentacruel, and I take a Dragon Rage. I opt to use Giga Drain to keep my HP high as the poison does its work. I then use Barrier, getting 2 up before Gyarados goes for Hyper Beam. This is perfect, as I can Giga Drain for some recovery, and Toxic takes this thing out. I outspeed Dragonair as well, landing Toxic, though Tentacruel does get hit with Thunder Wave. This leaves me to being fully paralyzed for 2 turns, letting Dragonair get me down to 57 HP with Outrage. Lapras comes out on an Outrage, and then takes another before setting up Safeguard. Before Toxim takes him out, Lance uses a full Restore. That would have been pretty annoying if Lapras didn't land a critical Ice Beam that turn to one-shot Dragonair. Aerodactyl comes out swinging with Ancient Power and even gets the boost. I'm willing to bet that Surf would have killed if he didn't get that. Another one of those and Lapras is cooked. Slowbro comes in on another Ancient Power, thankfully this time not getting a boost. I take one more Wing Attack to bring Slowbro down to half HP, and then Surf KOs. We are now faced with this ace, Dragonite, who sets up Safeguard turn 1. Blizzard lands and one-shots this beast. Dragonair befalls the same fate, going down to 1 Blizzard. Thank the Lord that Aerodactyl didn't get more boosts. Well, it's all come to this. Our arch nemesis, our worst enemy, the incredible Stink, is the last thing that stands between me and winning this challenge. Here we come. We can't lead Gyarados like we always do, so I choose Slowbro, eating an Aerial Ace and going for Calm Mind turn 1. To my horror, Pidgeot starts using Sand Attack. Forget this, I'm attacking now. He's able to get 2 accuracy drops from me before I take Pidgeot out with Surf, leading to Arcanine. He goes for Bite turn 1, though I'm able to avoid the flinch and land Surf despite the accuracy drops. Arcanine goes down in one shot, bringing me to Venusaur. This is it. I need to go for Psychic, and hope I don't miss. Here we go. He's charging Solar Beam, and Psychic connects. Venusaur goes down like a dog, and Gyarados comes out. I stay in on Dragon Rage and land Psychic to bring him down to red HP. He's definitely going to use a full restore, so I use the free switch to go out into Tentacruel. I outspeed Gyarados, land Toxic, and take a Dragon Rage. Deja Vu. I set up a Barrier, though maybe that doesn't really matter since he's going for Dragon Rage. I use Giga Drain instead next turn, and work on keeping my HP up. By doing just that, I managed to keep Tentacruel alive in time for Toxic to take Gyarados out. Next up is Alakazam. Well, at this point, there's really no reason to keep Tentacruel alive. I stay in, expecting to die, though Alakazam goes for Future Sight, so I'm able to get a Toxic off. It's kind of crazy, but Alakazam gets brought down to a quarter HP before Tentacruel goes down. That's great for me, as I can bring in Blastoise, take Psychic for about half, and finish it with 1 bite. Finally, we face Rhydon, who expectedly falls to 1 Surf, finishing the run. We win! We've beaten Leaf Green with only Water types. There were definitely some really difficult battles in this run, pretty much every time we faced our rival, for an example, but I think for the most part, I was able to strategize around most of the challenge. This is the first time I ever completed a hardcore Nuzlocke, let alone a Monotype Nuzlocke, and it was super fun. If you want to see more Pokemon challenges like this one, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Take care out there.